I will do a separate video on that. We're going to start with one that I've already wrapped. And I showed you that it's a clear plastic ball. And you can see the ball right there. Okay. And then this time I decided, let me see what trim I have. This is a trim I decided I was going to use. This is another lace I carry them. I have in my shop. You see that? So this one I'm going to make it a little bit more floral, a little bit more flowers. And what I do is I decide which, first I test everything. I always test to see how is it going to look on that. And then when I do, so some of my patterns of some of my laces are just really big pattern. So it won't go good on a small ball, but it might go well on a big, larger ball, you know, the ones that are twice this size. Which I might do a couple of those if I can find some. So what I do is I wrap it and then I see what pattern it's going to have when it fits. And you'll see the patterns are not always exact. See, this one overlaps a little when I trimmed it. Yeah. And then I think about how I'm going to attach this. And usually I attach this on top of the other one to connect it. So for this one, since I'm going to put this floral part, not this part, on top of this one, I'm going to fussy cut this. I don't know what happened to my other scissors, but let's see if I can do it with these ones. I've been crafting a lot. I did, if you go on my Facebook page, I have tons of things I've been working on. I got several orders for like angels and some jeweled wreaths, and I didn't take the time to list them all of that on. So I just fussy cut that so that when I put it on top, it'll look more finished, and it'll be really hard to tell that I've overlapped it. You can tell if you look hard, you can find it, or you can cover it up. Hello, everyone. You guys are welcome to comment below. Again, if you do comment, I might see your comment. I may not, because I'm the only one manning this and I am actually designing. So if you really want me to see something, then just let me know. Again, repeat, repeat, repeat. So what I'm planning to do here is, because of the pattern, I'm going to actually place this on top and glue this. And I'm going to glue it. I'm estimating where I need the glue to be, and I'm going to put it on this, and I'm going to put this flower on top. And then, oops, I'm going to try it again, making sure I'm right about the center. Right now I'm not deciding the exact center yet. I'm just deciding where I'm going to glue this. I'll show you why. I can decide to cut parts off again if I want later. But so what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue it when it's off right there. So then I'm going to end up with a circle. You see that? And for this one, I'm going to use a lot of hot glue, but normally I use a combination of, hot glue and fabric tack. That's the thing about working with feathers, they get all over you. So I'm going to put the glue on here, there, and then I'm going to put this on top. Let's see. So if you notice on the pattern, this one is the flowers, one's low, one's high, so it's not going to matter that much. And I just glued that nice and tight. Like a nice glob of glue for this one. Sometimes I just put little bits of glue, but this time, because there was a big surface, I was able to do a lot. And then I put it back on. A lot of times I'll go from the top that I've already, and go down, because I found that sometimes when you go from the bottom up, it messes up, but it's up to you, whatever works for you. And now with my eye, I'm going to place it where I want it visually. I'm going to push these out of the way and stick them in there. So visually, I go and I see what looks like the center. And what I'm doing is in my mind, I'm looking at the top one and I'm looking at this and I'm saying, okay, about a finger's width apart. And I'm just visualizing this about the center. The reason I do this is because when I first started designing these, I felt like they were just so crooked. And so I tried to figure out ways to fix that. And basically this is what I came up with. So what I do is I try to place it on about where I want it. And then I don't know if you guys, any of you have seen these, but these are pretty cheap. This one I probably purchased years ago just from Dollar Tree. And it comes like in a little sewing kit. And I actually rounded it. I kind of bent it and rounded it. And then this is still moves. And I use it to guide me around the ball. So I'll come back and now I'll measure. I'll choose a point that I want to measure to. So now I think I might measure um, the lower flower right on that little thing. Again, using this little blue slide. I'll put it right there. And I said, okay, I'm going to put it right there or wherever I think is a good place. I think I'm going to put it right at the top, right there. And then I go around and I kind of say, okay, I want it about that height. And so, since this one felt like it was sliding around, I'm going to measure that first one. Then I'll put a little bit of glue on it. You can add more glue later. I just put a little because I might need to move this around. And a lot of times I'll start with hot glue, and then I'll use fabric tack also. So this, remember I told you the pattern, one flower's higher, one flower's lower. This flower, I'm using this bottom of this white lace I put on there to measure it. And this is how I kind of make sure you can see where I put it, the blue. And then I'll go around. Okay, this is the one that's up higher. This is the one that's lower. But I'm going to go from the one I glued opposite side and find the lower one. Then I'll put that on. You see how off it is compared to the other one? So now I want to pull this down. And I'll put it back on and I'll put it about the same. See, it's about the same. It doesn't have to be exact, but I found that sometimes it was just so far off that it looked totally lopsided. So these are my tip. This is a tip for you on how I accomplish it. Now, you might have your own way, but this is my way. Now, remember here where we met them, this is not completely accurate. So we'll have to work on that later. So this one is still loose. So I'm going to measure another one that's loose, and that's about the right spot. What I do is I hold it down here with my thumb as I'm making room to put the glue gun underneath carefully, put a tiny dab of hot glue, and then I attach it there. So this one's glued. Now I needed work on, this one's glued, work on gluing this. And this will most likely be very close now because I already did most of the lower ones all the way around. And now because I know that this one right here where I connected it is not exactly the right height, I'm going to come back over here and I'm going to measure the height from one of the tall ones. And I'm moving it up just a little, about the same. I'm choosing the same location, but on the tall flower. And, oh, that's perfect. Can you see that? Very, very perfect on the tall flower. So I'm going to hold it with my thumb, pull it back, and put some glue. There you go. So now I'm getting to the point where I'm almost aligned it the way I would want it, because it's a lot of it is not exact. A lot of it is just visual on it looking straight. And it's easy to move it. So I've put some together before. And what did I do? Okay, so I see people that are on there. April Duran, thank you. Terry Roeder and Joyce Boring. Okay, I've been wanting to create some new videos, and I'm just like, I've been so busy. Like I said, I got several orders. So now you know what I'm doing when I'm measuring. So this is my idea. I also have used, like, tried using a rubber band before. Is that just a little piece of, that's just a little flaw in the lace. I'm going to remove that little piece there. Okay, so for the most part, most of it is attached. Look, this one's loose. I'm going to remeasure it just in case. Looks about right. It should be about right because now I've done most of them. I put a little glue on most of them. So they should be around right. Okay, so that's about where I'm going to do. Now I come back usually with my fabric tack. This is what I use. It's gone really far expensive now. I bought a new one. I'll use my new one. I bought this new one at, oh, no, this is not even the new one. Here's the new one. This new one at, because it dries out. But I'm going to give you a tip about fabric tack. So I have 3 bottles, and I used to buy the big one, and at Walmart it used to be like $10, and now it's like 15, I think. Everything's gone up. But anyways, so I like to use the smaller bottles because the tip is a little better. You can put them in something else, but I don't. These ones were drying out and getting really thick and hard to come out the last time I was creating. So what I did is I went ahead and you can thin this out. I've heard that you can use 2 things. One is alcohol and the other is acetate, which acetone, not acetate, acetone, which is what you nail polish remover. I put some nail polish remover in them, and then I stirred it, and then I let it sit overnight, actually a couple of nights, and I kept on stirring them, and then all of a sudden they started working better. They're not as thick. Now, of course, you're estimating how much you're putting, so that's a fabric tack tip. And the reason I use fabric tack, you can use hot glue, is because most of my ornaments, I sell them. I resell them. And so I want to make sure that I have 2 types of glue on there to make sure that they're not going to be moving um, around. So I think I'm going to do the bottom layer here, circle, with fabric tack. And it's already adjusted to the right height, so I'm not that worried about it. There you go. I'm just going to go to the bottom one. And then usually I'll use it for other things that I place on top. And as you can see, there's a string. Fabric tack can be stringy sometimes. Sometimes it's based on how thick it is. And this is the new bottle. So it picked up at Michael's, and I think it was like $12, $13 for this little thing. But um, I like fabric tack. It works very well. Okay. Okay, so this is what I did. Now, like on this other pink one that I did over here, I actually attached the pink lace all the way down and glued it all the way down. This one, I'm going to leave it hanging like that. And I don't want a lot on it, but I did, like you saw where I put it right on the circles of the flowers. And there's actually another spot right here that you could put some glue on this one. That makes it easy. If you try to go through and you try to glue all this down, it's just so thin. I mean, the other lace was thinner, so I'll do it if I need it. Like on this one right here, it's where I connected. It's up a little bit. I think I'll put some glue on that one just to, and also anything that's sticking up. So I just squeeze out just a teeny tiny bit. Let me see if I can get that. Just teeny tiny bit, and then I just rub it along there. I try not to squeeze too much. I do the same with the hot glue, and I hold it down. Now, I do notice on like the pattern, see how this one goes over and goes this way? Oops. Where I connected, it's there. I can decide, do I want to leave it on there or take it off or change it like this. I think it'll be seen less less noticeable if I think I'm going to try this. See if it works. You guys can change your mind if you guys like it differently. And so each lace that you use will have different quirks. So what I decided to do was trim it, and then I'm going to glue it down right there like that. So, you know, people, unless they're really looking, won't really notice what's going on. And I'm going to use the fabric tack. I could use hot glue on this one, but I'm use fabric tack. The thing I like about fabric tack is that you can move it. It doesn't dry as fast as hot glue. So if I put it someplace now, you always have to keep in consideration. So I have some red satin that I was thinking of using for one of the ornaments. Red is really hard to work on because it shows very easily. So it might not be the best choice for everyone. Oh, I see other people talking below. Oh, thank you, Terry. Joyce. Uh, I love fabric tack. See, yes, I love fabric tack too. I like the consistency, but you know, you can also buy other glues from Beacon, and they're actually light fabric tack, and it says it's it's marketed differently. I don't know if it's the exact same thing in it, but I've used that before also. Okay. All right. So, all right, this is beautiful already. So can you see that? It's just beautiful already. It doesn't, if you want to just stay there. But as you can see, I add things to my thing based on what I have. So what do you have in stock that you could use? Or if you want see something you really like from my shop, you can order that. And I had decided that I wasn't going to do a lot of bows on these, that I wanted it to be look more a little different. So I actually think I'm going to take off this bow because that's how I decided I want. And what I'm going to do is these are going to be a series. I'm going to put 3 of them in my shop at a time for sale. And instead of single, because I have a few singles in there already. And I'm going to do this one like a kit. And I don't know if I'm going to put all through pink or the pink and the white. I'll see what I end up doing. All right, so I'm cutting that off because that's my choice. I've decided to do that. I'm going to cut this little. I usually have my other little pink scissors. I don't know what I did with them. I was crafting so much that I lose everything. That's just the way I am. Okay. I lose everything. Okay, this feels a little loose to me. Let's see. That looks better. Okay, so now, next thing. I decided how a little bit about the embellishments. I think I decided I was going to make this the top, maybe, and then put pieces of it down here. Or I can stagger this and the beads like I did on this one. I staggered them. I put on one I put the glitter, on the other one I put the bead. I put the little applique that has sequin on it, and then the bead. So I can do the same thing here, sort of, because there is a pattern, 1, 2, up, down, and I think that will bring it all together. So usually when you're using pink, when I put additional embellishments, I usually add the contrasting color, but I do have some other pink trims and things like that if that's what you want to do. As you can see, when I put this on, it's going to cover that. I'm going to estimate how many I need. I'm going to put it up here. I could also put the jewels. I can see that it's going to overlap. So I estimate how many I need, and then I cut it. And since I have, I know I'm going to use them individually too. I'm going to leave extra there. Hello, Grace in Grit. Welcome. Oh, I'm glad you like my creations. I haven't done a lot of videos lately. I decided I wanted to try and do a few more ornament videos. It's been years since I did ornament videos. And like this, I showed you the stuff in the front. I could choose to like trim this video later if I ever have time. The reason I'm doing lives is because editing and like loading it on your phone and then onto the computer to do the editing, that takes a long time. I used to take a long time doing those videos, and I don't have that kind of time anymore. So I decided, well, I'm going to come on live sometimes, and sometimes you're going to see it full length like this with my greetings in the beginning. I showed you the laces and trims I used on those other ones. But like I said, make sure you guys let me know if, oh, I know I don't need it on that one. I know I added one more, so I wanted to be able to have something to hold on to. There you go. See that? There's one more. I'm holding it. I'm going to trim it off because I know it's a little more. So you see there's a little gap, but I'm going to pull it tight. I think I'll add a little hot glue on that. Right there, and squeeze them tight. And that'll hold it until the fabric text starts holding. There you go. There you go. This one I decided to put that. And then I'm going to fluff this down a little bit. You see how pretty that looks? It like gives it an elevated look. All right, I'm going to cut a couple of these, and I decided I'm going to put this on there. And I'm going to stagger them. I just lost it. Wherever it fell. I'll probably run across it in a moment. Now you can take the time to cut off the little tiny edges if you want. But these little tiny appliques are very versatile. I do not have that much in my shop. I plan to order more of this because I think sometimes I'll order them and I'll say, okay, that's plenty. And then somebody buys all of it, you know. And right now the sequin trims have been selling right now. So I'm just trimming off a little stray on the lace. So, oops. Let me see if this is dried out. Might be dried out. There. Getting a little fabric or something to grab the top. Sometimes if you leave it open, it dries out a little bit. And I usually close it right afterwards, and I didn't because I'm distracted. So now I have to make a decision. Where am I going to put this one? I think I'm going to put the glitzy on top. I'm going to put them on the top one right now. And I can change my mind. And you can either put it on the trim itself or put it on the embellishment. That's all going to be based on what's going on. You know, what trims are you using? What laces are you using? And you can see how that's. And then I use the fabric tack, but I can always come back and add the hot glue too. And fabric tack is enough to hold it gently, but not like this one where it was like I had to snug it. Okay. Oops. All right. So even if you don't have, did I put it in the wrong place? No, I didn't. Did not put enough glue, or I forgot to put the glue. What did I do? I'll just use the hot glue right now. I don't like it to take too long because I know I'm doing a video, and we can become impatient when we're watching videos. Let's see. I'll put some hot glue here. As you can see, it's a little bit off because it is connected the way it connected, but there you go. All right, so I put some on the top. And I think I'm going to go ahead and put a pearl right here. Let's cut some pearls up. That's what I like about these little pearls, is because they're so versatile. You can buy an entire yard and you have tons of them, of little pearls that are flat backs to be able to cut apart and use on your projects. You can also use the flat back beads like this. I used that on some of them. And for the actual bead, I'm going to make sure that when I do I less likely use hot glue when it's like this and not fabric. And so I'm going to use the fabric tack. Or you can use E6000 also. All right. I don't know if I should do them all for you guys. What do you guys think? Okay. All right. Oh, so I like the look of the pearl. I like it. I don't think I'm going to do them all because I want you to. I don't want to use that much time when I'm teaching how to do this. But I mostly wanted to teach you how I measure it because that kind of gives at least close, makes it at least close. And thank you, Grace. Now I'm going to decide if I think I'm going to put another pearl because I liked how the pearl looks. I'm going to put another pearl down here. Now, the other thing you can do is I see a lot of you sometimes are using a lot of stickles. Oh, I just said I was going to use the pearl. Huh? All right, let's do that again. All right. Silly me. There you go. And usually when I use fabric tack, because it takes a while to dry, I'll go and push them down again, just in case I undid them. And there, that's really pretty. I like it. It's simple and pretty. So up here, I've been using a theme of putting feathers, and then using this one. I would probably use a white handle. Like I could use pink or white. I think I'll use white. I mean, I don't think I have a piece of white. Well, I'll just use the pink because I think I have pink. Here it is. I have some pink. So this is the pink one that's in my shop that is doubled over. So it's usually like this side by side. But I love it because I can use it like that, or I can just cut it. And I also like putting it in my kits because I don't have to cut such long pieces when I'm doing it. So I'm just going to cut this off. I don't usually use this middle section, and if I'm using the strip, you can cut it right in the center if you want. But I usually don't do that because I like the delicate look of this lace. I'm just going to put it on. I have this lace in white and cream also. So I could use white in this. And what I do is I'll take the center here. I'll put it in. Come on, go in. There you go. It's going in. And then it's kind of long, and I did it purposely because I wanted, let me show you. Which one do I have? I have it on here. Oh yeah, here. You can see there's the hanger, and then I have a couple sticking out. See that? That's just part of my decoration and design. And I'm going to do the same thing with this. I'll show you how I do it. I estimate about how long I want it. All right. I'm just gonna do an overhand knot. There you go. That. And I make sure this is as long as I want. And then I pull it back through so that this is on the bottom. And I actually use this as an embellishment. And I usually take it and sort of just glue it down like that. So now when you hang it, you have something sticking up. Looked like it was getting blurred. You have something sticking up. And I like that look. And I usually separate it. Next, I'm going to grab some feathers. So again, this is a boa from Dollar Tree from the kids section. I found some pieces that just came out, and that's what I'm going to use. Just those pieces that popped out, because the feathers can be kind of messy. And you can see it's just a piece. And then I also do the same thing. I just open it up, put a little glue, and stick it down. See, it adds a softness, huh? So instead of like real flowery this year, I made them more soft looking with this. I softened the look. Okay. So these are my ideas. You can, a lot of times I'll use lace inside there, and then it'll be lace and the satin. I decided to fill it with feathers this year. And whenever, like this one is kind of sticking up, I try to cut it down so it doesn't show so much. And then, okay. So that is pretty. I like it. I like the look. I like the pearly look. And so now I have a set. I can do 2 set or 3 to a set. I think I'm going to do 3 to a set, and I might make a couple more pink. But realize that if you love lavender, you can use a lavender fabric. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Grace. And you, again, I'm going to go through here. I still go and I go check everything, make sure things are glued down well. I'll finish it. I haven't finished it, see? But this is basically how I make them. It's quite simple. Use you don't have to use this, what I have. You can use what you have in, I have, this is another one I have in my shop. It's gorgeous little trim. And so it would look really cute. I could see this one being put on and then flipped over and put the opposite way. So it goes both ways. That's my vision on that one, but I don't know if I would do that, but because I usually have another trim, I'll put something um, like like this one, pearls or something. This one had a beautiful thing, and I put pearls along there. Um, and let's see. Oh, let me see. I'm gonna go this down. All right. Does anybody have any questions? I'm gonna look to see if anybody has questions. And also, if you do want me to show you how I wrapped this in a separate video, I have old videos where I show you what I do. And but I was thinking of just doing one video where I just show you how to wrap it. And then that way there's just a video for wrapping. And this is a video of how I measure it and embellish it to look beautiful. And even now, what I do now is I did this, right? And then I'll hang it up there. And then if I think, oh, it needs this or it needs that, then I'll go and I'll add it on later. And based on what you have, like, I can come and say, okay, when I want another trim here, let's see, where's the, oh, that's right. I was going to show you the heart one, how I got that on, because I do have this in my shop. And I think I have yardage on this one. So this one looked pretty. Also, it's little hearts, but I put mine here, and I'll probably will put it here. Let me see. Oh yeah, see, that looks pretty. And when you use the contrasting colors, it just looks pretty on there. But sometimes when you have difficulty, it's like this would be really hard to get around here, because unless you put it up high like this, oh, like this, up high. But to get it around, I'm going to put it like along the bottom. I go through and I trim out, I cut out the little pieces so that it will fan out better. Okay, I'm going to show you just that little bit. So you can see that it should be able to, now say that's not enough. Say it doesn't fan out enough. You can go one more. There's still more there. And that's what I did with the other ones. And just decide what you want to cut off and what you don't, what you want to show. There you go. All right. Okay. So basically these are just little tips that you can use to be able to design your own. And these, I am going to stick them in my shop. I have other ones in my shop. I think I designed most of those last year. I might have designed a couple of them this year. Sometimes I'll go and make an ornament, or I'll make flowers or something like that. And so now when I put it on, it will actually flare out. You see the flare? Flares out. And now you are able to glue on with this all the way, lying a little bit more flat, flaring out. And it looks beautiful. Here's one. I don't need to do it for you, but I want to show you how I did it. See? This one, it flared out. They're separated. But this one can also be used here along the bottom. It would look pretty as a trim also along the center. All right. I think that's it. I don't want to stay on too long. I hope that helps some of you guys who are designing your own ornaments. I use a lot of times what I have in my shop. This time I preferred to find something that I have in my shop that not from my stash, but things I have in my shop that you could purchase. I used a lot. So I do have this lace in my shop you can purchase if you really like this design. And you're welcome, April. Um, Yes, please. I'll show you how to wrap. I'll show you how to wrap them, okay? I do, like I said, I have a lot of old tutorials on how, when I first started crafting, and then I show you how I, I started doing them, and I do very similar things. And and I wrap them similar. It is fussy the way, like the different fabrics you use. It makes some fabrics are easier than others. to do, and it not be too overlapped here. See, it looks like it's a ruffle, like I kind of use a needle and thread, but I didn't. I didn't use the needle and thread. But you can actually measure the ball and decide how big it is and just use a needle and thread to connect it, you know, but I don't do that. I'm I'm not that type of person. So, this is Liz with Crafty Devotion, and if you have questions, you can comment here after I'm gone, or right now I didn't see, let me see.